Hello there. Welcome to July. Realize we're a week into it, but it has been a busy first week of the month. Um, yeah, I am back from a concert last night that was super fun, which doesn't really have much to do with anything other than to. I don't know, I've been really drawn to music. I mean, I've always been drawn to music, but especially lately, as a kind of like energy shifting mechanism. So I'll do things like, chanting, humming, bija mantra stuff. Less so sort of like wavelength kind of stuff, usually just more music. Um, and I was reminded in my kind of like obsession with the new Kesha album, that's the concert that I went to last night, that when I started Hermit's Mirror as a online presence, right? Like actually as an Instagram handle that would become the basis for Hermit's Mirror LLC, and all of the work that I would then later do outside of just occasionally slinging cards and reading them. I was really obsessed with the Ariana Grande song "God as a Woman," so it was that sort of summer when that came out, um, 2018. I'm going to say July 2018, something like that, is when I started the Instagram account. And so that was really pertinent, very like resonant, very much like getting me into the flow, rhythm, sort of the magic of music. I was sharing with Eric, who's part of the Patreon, but who's also an artist. No, not that one. This Rose from the Apothecary Spirits Oracle is by him. So if you don't know that deck that we made together, great artist. But I was sharing with him this sort of like refrain that's been coming to me from a song that I used to sing in high school. It's from the Prince of Egypt, which, geopolitically I feel like maybe is problematic to have running through my head all the time. But um, yeah, it's just been, like I used to love singing, and that was a big deal for me. I was never like great at singing, I was just sort of okay. But I really enjoyed doing it. And so, every now and again, there's like an album or a song that comes out that I just like obsess with, really get into. And currently, it is Kesha, and that like the specifics of that don't really matter, right? She is on a healing journey kind of thing. Maybe that's interesting to you, maybe not. But the just the like fun of being at a concert, being in presence with other people, sort of like sharing music, sharing rhythm, sharing whatever. Whether it's I mean it's not even the lyrics, but just sort of the space and the sounds. Like I feel like I don't know. Music, I think, is important. Certainly, I know it is for me. Maybe it is for you. Maybe it is for people in general. But it's been a big part, a sort of increasing part of my spiritual work. And so it'll be interesting to see how that shows up. I mean, I'm not a musician. I played clarinet for like 3 years in junior high, and I sang. And that was I played piano for 2 years, but that was like as a little kid, and I was really bad at it. And so this is not to say like, oh, I'm gonna do some musical thing. Um, but I am just sort of curious to see like how music emerges, how it shifts. I mean, I do so much like hyper focusing. So much of my work is like with a specific. Sometimes it's just one song on repeat, which you can diagnose for yourself. Um, but just focusing in with music, and so that's always been sort of in the background of everything that I do, but it's fun to see it come up spiritually. So if you feel called to it, I will be curious to hear what that looks like for you. Um, Otherwise, with July, I mean, we're in another sort of repeat. I mean, from this point forward, all of the months share the same theme as they did in the previous year. So in this case, it's support, which always feels important during cancer season, feels especially pertinent now, whether that is, mutual aid groups starting up, whether that is supporting victims of, natural disaster tragedies, whether that is other kinds of support here in Phoenix, right? It's blisteringly hot. So there's a lot of extra services for cooling centers for the unhoused, stuff like that. Um, Offering people water bottles if you have them and you're just sort of driving by. But so those are the things that I'm thinking about in terms of supporting others. But then, of course, support also is important for yourself, right? Which is part of the lesson of cancer season and part of the gifts of cancer as well. The gifts of the crab, as it were. I'm just looking over at the journal. So for the most part, the archetypes we saw last July, there are only 72. Yeah, 72, and they're 52 weeks, so most of them get repeated every year from the prior year, but there are always some new ones. And so the the archetype that we're in now, I was really excited to write about last year, and then I realized like, oh wait, it doesn't activate by the somewhat arbitrary schedule that I have created. Arbitrary but logical. And yeah, it was fun to think about. Okay, what is the essence of the Three of Cups in a way that is not just like friends and connection? We have the beloved, the communion. Those are part of the Two of Cups moving into the Three of Cups, which is the decan that we're working with astrologically. That's where all these archetypes come from. And so the tripartite was really inspired by a number of decks that take the Three of Cups idea, right, of sort of like family, friends, connection, that real essence of energies mixing and mingling and expanding, but they locate it in the triple goddess, right, or the maiden mother crone, typically. And I really like that, but it is just one expression of a triplicity. And because these are archetypes within all of us, I think it's important to remember that like we don't just have three sets of things. We don't just have we don't just have three stages of life. And in fact, as part of the purpose of the archetypes is to sort of tap into these different ones. And so I call it like a meta archetype because it is in part referencing like coming into awareness and knowledge of all of these other parts activating, as with these different archetypes themselves. And so, while it is labeled as sort of three, right, tripartite, it could be any number of things. And it doesn't just have to be maiden, mother, crone, or those sorts of life phases. So I'm curious how that's coming up this week. For me, for you, for all of us, how relevant it feels. And if it seems like, oh, I get to try on these different personas, these different hats, all of that stuff. The workshop in August that I'll be doing, August 28th, I want to say. Maybe it's August 30th. Whatever that Saturday is, very end of August, is going to be about these sorts of like personas and masks and archetypes and all of these things where like we take on temporarily the energy of something outside of oneself in order to like activate, to focus, to bring energy into all of the fun stuff. So it's the sort of personal slash professional development workshop option from the summer sessions. There's one each semester that's sort of personal professional development, and then this month's July's, so July 26th, that Saturday, the focus is the like mystical workshop of the session. So the fall and spring will also have some other kind of mystical thing. This one is about using your divination tools for magical purposes, as focuses, as grids, as those sorts of things where you can, as mandalas, like as ways of coordinating and collecting energy, and then using it really intentionally. And I talk about something like this with the card focuses for my Tarot to Transform Your Life small group coaching cohort. Um, and so, you know, those of you who are part of that, I'll be curious what you think about that experience itself. Yeah, we actually have our next session where we'll be debriefing some of that in 2 days. So I'm excited for that. It's really nice to have that running again, and I didn't realize quite how much I missed it. We've only had one session, but just like the essence of it, I really like. Um, and being in that co-creation, um, it's still, there's an element of teaching to it, of sort of sharing lessons, wisdom, experience, whatever, but then it is more collaborative since it is group, um, and it is driven by personal experience with that coaching aspect. So I'm sure I'll talk more about that later on. The other archetypes are the composed, which actually came about through um, the first archetype sketches that I did when I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do an oracle deck based on archetypes. Um, I'll put that in the Patreon, where I share this video link. And then the Lionhearted and the Riot. Riot we had last year, Composed we had last year, Lionhearted is the other new one for this month. And I just really like the combination of Cancer energy and Leo energy, which is where this comes from, the transition from Four of Cups to Five of Wands, which, Lionhearted doesn't really have that much to say about those two cards, but in that transition where you have the heart space of Cancer and the heart space of Leo, two different versions of heart shared across those two signs, and there's this real potential for like passion to brew, for to take that composure and light a fire to it and really have like a bubbling sort of cauldron, right? And I think of like steam, the steam engine, things that like actually water holds the heat in order to move, all of that stuff. But yeah, otherwise for the rest of July, I'm excited to do some traveling. I'm excited to do some game playing. Monster of the Week is a tabletop role playing game from almost 10 years ago, I think, that I've never played, but a friend of mine suggested, so I'm excited to try it out, and I'm excited to watch a bunch of like questionable TV shows of episodic Monster of the Week. So, classic one that a lot of people love is Buffy, also Supernatural. I'm a big Scooby Doo fan. That's sort of my Monster of the Week connection, but I've also been rewatching Penny Dreadful, just enjoying these things that, you know, aren't super serious because there's just so much to drain your energy, to intentionally give your energy to. So it's been nice to like not have quite as much going on. But if you are interested in that mystical work with divination tools workshop, we'd love to have you join us. You can get it separately, or if you want to take advantage of the remaining 3 office hours of July, one's this Friday, and then in 2 weeks, Monday, Friday, you get that at the Sage tier included with all of the things from Sovereign, from Explorer, from Lover, etc. So yeah, it's a good deal if you're interested, and it should be. I don't know if fun's the right word. Maybe it'll be fun, but I think it'll be useful and informative. The Marseille was super fun, doing that workshop using the Tarot de Marseille. So if you're looking for a fun workshop, I think that one will definitely hit. You can get the recording of that. I'll put the links in the Patreon and the YouTube description. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, and I may do um, a set of tarot spreads inspired by the Kesha album. Since a year ago or whenever Joyride first came out, I said, oh, should I do like a Kesha inspired or a Joyride inspired tarot spread? I was not quite as obsessed then as I have become over the last week, last 3 days, I guess, or 7 days since the album launched. 3 days. Came out 3 days ago. Um, yeah, but it should be fun. Should be sort of lighthearted, maybe useful. I haven't done a tarot spread in a while. I created a custom tarot oracle spread, so it definitely feels like it's time to do that and to share that with those of you on Patreon. So, I hope that you are enjoying the new season, the new month, the solstice, whichever direction it was going for you. It's definitely incredibly hot here. I mean, again, this concert that I went to last night, it's probably going to become my personality for the next 10 days. But it was like 105 degrees and it was outside. Thankfully, the sun quickly set after it started, but yeah, it was wild. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share with you all. We have the full moon in Capricorn coming up soon, and I will, as usual, share the spread for that in the daily guidance. I think I'll probably post it in tomorrow's. So, anything that you guys want that you're curious about that you would like me to focus on later this month or next month, let me know because I do have to. I've got some stuff going on in August that I'm going to really have to pre-plan for because I'm not going to be at full capacity in August, and I'm going to be traveling for a week in July. So if I can plan ahead, that'll be great. Thank you all for your support as always, and yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you later.